Going into them, the chicken dude was kind of I was at a loss for, because I was as I watched the scene, I was like, oh God, I'm going to call this guy's name. Mercifully, I couldn't remember his name, so even if somebody did call me his name, I wouldn't know. Nerd test. But anyway, yeah, there's not much I would have done differently, to be honest with you. But to be fair, I don't have a lot of imagination. Remember, I'm not the guy who makes Star Wars. I'm the guy who makes movies that talk about the Star Wars movies. So I don't have enough imagination to say what should have been done different or something like that. And I was very happy with what they did. I mean, come on, man. You got to remember, I was a kid when there was no internet, there was no cable. We had 3 fucking television stations, and like one movie came out a month if you were lucky. So even back in those lean information days, man, where most of the stuff you picked up about the things you love was in Starlog or or if you were lucky enough to go to a rare sci-fi con, they weren't as prevalent as they are today, or if you remember the Star Wars Fan Club, it had bantha tracks and stuff.
Yeah,
you would hear rumblings of how Darth Vader became Darth Vader, and you always heard it had something to do with a fight on top of a volcano.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, that really captures your imagination, man. You're like, get out of here. So, you know, first time you saw Star Wars, you're like, he's a robot. And then you find out he's not a robot. You're like, this is a human being in there, and he's mangled. This is even better. It sucks for him, great for us. So going into it, or being a fan of that era of stuff, knowing that little piece of information, even as I matured and grew up and kind of left the toys behind and stuff, and still kept my passion for Star Wars alive, I would always wonder, what would that be like? I mean, we'll never see it. Like, we'll never see that moment. And then, boom, when they wound up doing Sid, I remember being in the theater watching that moment, rolling tears, man, because I was just like, I dreamt about this for so long, and here we are seeing it. And it was fucking harsh. I don't know if anybody remembers, but he's like on fire, screaming on the lakeside. He's like, I hate you! And the little 9-year-old in me was like, this is too scary. You know? No wonder Darth Vader's so mean. I was just happy to see that kind of shit, like promises that were whispered, not even like you could read websites about it back then. Just information, little pieces of information from youth that culminated and wound up being in the flick. The only thing that I would urge anyone, George Lucas himself or anyone over there, to do now, you know, some people are like, he always said there were 9 movies, and he's not saying not so much anymore. But you've got this fantastic world of characters. The one movie I think everybody in this room would line up a year in advance to see is just a flat-out Boba Fett movie. I dream of a movie called Star Wars, Army of the Fett. So I think that you could literally get away with making that movie, like a lot of it's special effects mostly and stuff, but you can also tangentially jump into throughout the stories. I've worked on it in my head. I can't wait to pitch it to George. But if you do it as like him in a time travel thing, then he can interact with all the movies, you know, because George could put things digitally. George could put you back in the womb now. That's how good he is at special effects. So he can literally blend like new footage with the old footage, or like that way you can include Mark and Carrie and stuff, jumping into the future, just span the entire world. That's the kind of things I think about when I masturbate. I don't know about you.